I want to introduce you to somebody who we heard a videotape, a man who spoke in Louisiana. It's one of the best speeches I've ever heard, and listen to just a little bit of it.
My name is Elbert Guillory, and I'm the senator for the 24th District right here in beautiful Louisiana. Recently, I made what many are referring to as a bold decision to switch my party affiliation to the Republican Party. I wanted to take a moment to explain why I chose to become a Republican, and also to explain why I don't think it was a bold decision at all. It is the right decision, not only for me, but for all my brothers and sisters in the black community.
Okay, I'm not going to play any more of this because I want you to hear it from him, because Senator Guillory is on the phone with us. And Senator, first of all, thank you very much for coming on the program. Would you just explain, because this just does not seem like a political move to you, far as, well, kind of like the, what's his name, Arlen Specter, where he was just, I could get more favors over here. This is a fundamental shift in thinking, going from one party to at least the principles or supposed principles of the other party. Can you explain it?
Yes, sir. You are absolutely correct. And let me tell you, good morning. I'm a great fan of yours, and this is a great honor.
Wow. Thank you, sir.
Yes, I did. I was just dissatisfied with the principles and the values of the party of disappointment, the Democrat Party.
How long was this? How long was this going on? And take us to your change. Take us through this.
During the last 2 years, they've been on a variety of issues, certainly on gun rights, on abortion, on prayer in school, on big government spending, on marriage and family. The Democrat Party in Louisiana has just continued to move farther and farther away from basic American values and farther away from the voters of Louisiana and much farther away from me. So I just couldn't take it anymore. And recently there were some comments made in the Senate. The comments were that if anyone opposes what we frequently call Obamacare, if anyone opposes it, they do so only because the president is an African American, and therefore that position is racist. My mother, who's 103 years old, called me on the telephone when she heard that and said, "Boy, I don't want you to be involved in anything like this. I hope that you've dissociated yourself from that." And I was on the verge of doing it anyway, and
wow.
That was just the last straw. So,
wow.
Mom still giving me advice.
Wow, that is great.
Senator, the left doesn't take kindly to any African American who doesn't toe the liberal line, who doesn't toe the progressive line. Are you getting pilloried for this by the left? Are they?
You race traitor and everything else now?
Well, of course. The members of the hierarchy of the Democrat Party have really taken me to task, called me everything but a child of God. But that's okay. I don't mind. I'm very comfortable where I am and doing what I'm doing. So it hasn't hurt my feelings.
You said in your speech, and I have to tell you, it was epic. And I have to tell you, Senator, I'm not a fan of the Republicans. They're closer, but there are a lot of progressives and big government in the GOP as well. I'm a freedom guy, and anybody who supports freedom and the Constitution, I'll stand with. But you spoke about an understanding of the civil rights movement, unlike I have heard very many people say. And it is so critical, not just for the black community, but for all communities, and maybe even especially the white community, to hear about the truth about the civil rights and the parties and what it takes to stand.
Well, that's absolutely true. We forget, I guess, that it was Richard Nixon, the Republican president, who really opened the doors to higher education and the doors to government contracting to minorities. It was the Republicans in the Congress who helped President Lyndon Johnson pass the monumental 1964 and 65 Civil Rights Acts. over the objection of most Southern Democrats. So if we look at history, there we find that we've had a lot of friends in a lot of different places at a lot of different times, and we just cannot put all of our eggs into one basket. That's foolish.
Is there anybody besides Mom or any? I mean, I'm surprised to hear you say that you were a fan of mine because you were a Democrat. This must have started a long time ago, because the ideas that you have don't seem to jive with somebody who was a comfortable Democrat 4 years ago. Can you tell me about the influences on you that have brought you to this place? Old or current, or just tell me about your influences.
Mom and Dad, or the primary influences on my life. We grew up in the semi-rural South, one parent Catholic, one parent Baptist, and I grew up in both of those faiths. But we worked since I was 8 years old. I've been working out of the home, earning money. Basic American values is what they taught, and that's what Mom, at 103 years old, still preaches. Although she's been a lifelong Democrat, we supported President Eisenhower very strongly, and it was Eisenhower who brought the first civil rights bill since Reconstruction. It was Eisenhower who brought the 57th civil rights bill that was filibustered to death by the Southern Democrats.
Johnson was one of them.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Yeah. So the guy who gets the credit for it. So, Senator, let me. I said to. I was with Rand Paul yesterday, and I talked to him yesterday and a couple of other congressmen, and talked about the same thing. And I'm not sure any of them really get it. Charles Sumner, back in the 1850s, the Republicans and the Democrats were starting to lose. The Democrats and the Whigs were starting to lose people in Congress and in the Senate to a new party called the Republicans. And they were just really people that just said, common sense needs to rule here, and decency and honor, and slavery is wrong, and you guys aren't going to do anything about it, and so we will. And there were about 20 of them. And Charles Sumner was beaten within an inch of his life in the well of the Senate in the middle of a speech. And that was the turning point. And I sense that there is a turning point of common sense and traditional decency and the Constitution that is coming, and you're going to see defectors from both the Democrats and Republicans, and they are going to start standing for things that are real, and it's going to come from all sectors of America, all races, creeds, and colors. Agree or disagree?
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agreed. And I'm happy to be a part of that movement. I call it the movement toward America. Back toward America. We're going to change this place. We're going to bring God back, and we're going to put God into schools. We're going to bring discipline back and put it into schools and into our homes. We've got to take control of our country and of our communities in a way that we've lost. We've lost control.
I see the profound poverty in Louisiana. I see it in the inner city of Philadelphia. I see it in Detroit on an epic movie scale. And it comes from these progressive policies. How do you break the cycle of people who will continue to vote for the policies that are enslaving them and destroying their livelihood and their families, especially when you have a United States Senate and Congress and President who are going to institutionalize those kinds of policies through the DREAM Act, where you have Richard Trumka coming out, and this amazing statement for Richard Trumka, paraphrasing, but basically this is it. Normally the unions are against illegal immigration or any kind of naturalization like this because it hurts the worker, but we know that they will vote for the things we want, so we're okay with it. They're looking at people as numbers, not even people.
That's absolutely true.
How do you turn this tide in the inner cities and those who have they don't trust a Republican or anybody because they've been indoctrinated for so long?
Monumental task of education. We have to make our education system uplift the level of education, of basic education. But we also have to do some political education, and we have to convince people that that the handouts, just taking a few little handouts, where you have a subsistence living, where you never can get up, where you can never grow, but just get a little check and just a few food stamps that it will keep you on the plantation for the rest of your life. That's not a life. That's not living. It's not good enough. It's not acceptable. We have to educate our people that that's no longer good. You've got to get off the plantation, off the government plantation.
Senator, I hope to shake your hand and sit down and have a talk with you. Maybe we can fly you in and spend some time and pick your brain on some things that you have seen in your lifetime and seen the changes in Louisiana and get to know you a little bit better, and anything that you would.
I would love to do that, and I say hello to you from Reverend C.L. Bryant, who is a good friend of yours and a good friend of mine.
He is
a strong toiler in the Lord's vineyards.
I have a feeling that he may have played a role in your change. Did he?
Absolutely,
I bet he did.
And was there to welcome me when I made when I came across.
God bless you. God bless you, Senator. Thank you so much, and hope to meet you soon.
It has been a joy. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye. Nice guy. Don't know how that transition worked. I figured CL it had something to do with it, because CL is the same kind of guy. He's a pastor in that area in Louisiana, and now he's in Houston, and so he's in Louisiana all the time. And he did Runaway Slave and speaks a lot and waking a lot of people up. And he had the same kind of thing where he was a pastor of a church, and they threw him out. They didn't want anything to do with it. All of a sudden he was racist and Uncle Tom and everything else. And he had a real awakening. He's like, I'm standing for principles. What are you guys standing for? And he's an amazing man. So maybe we'll have him on the show and really get to know him. There's something big changing.